What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that all of you are having an amazing day. It is a beautiful Monday, August 12th. The Braxtons are back, y'all. The Braxtons are back, and so am I. I took this a little vacay, but now I'm back with it. The YouTube streets have been pretty hot. I see. I'm going ahead and course, address all of that foolishness on another video. But right now, we are focusing on the Braxtons, okay? We have so much to get into. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, the ladies are all gathered again and they are celebrating Traci. Rest in peace, Traci. Seeing her, um, it was bittersweet, right? Like she was such a light and she was such a delight. Like she was so delightful on the show, and seeing her cancer, um, just like eat away at her body, it was so heartbreaking. It really was, and I'm really glad that they brought in Spirit. I follow her on Twitter, as a grief counselor, but I'm I'm really grateful that they got somebody who is actually licensed. Okay, no shade to Miss Iyanla Van Zant, and no shade to, I think Tamar said she had a life coach. And I know she was open. She said that she's seen, a psychiatrist, psychologist, a life coach, etc. But to have someone who actually went to school and actually, practices therapy, I think that is so, it's needed, right? For healing. And speaking of healing, I'm really proud of Tawanda being so open about her alopecia diagnosis. When her and Trina were out to lunch, she said that, that they were all supposed to shave their heads to honor Traci. And Trina's like, well, my face is fat like mommy's. Like Tawanda couldn't help but laugh because Trina just has that personality where, she is just, she's so quirky and I love her. So it opens up with, all the sisters getting ready, and the backdrop is going to be, at Tony's house, and Tony is very open about her, lupus diagnosis as well. And she is doing a residency in Vegas right now with Cedric the Entertainer. From the clips that I've seen, she looks great. She sounds great. I mean, Tony is an amazing performer. Ever since she came on the scene with the Boomerang soundtrack and LaFace Records back in Atlanta, she's been a part of our lives for decades. And so I'm just so glad to see all of them back on our screens. And then, Trina, she was in the house cooking, I think, like some chips and queso for her husband, Vaughn. They've been married for 5 years. And I've heard in the YouTube streets that Trina has had a little bit of some financial difficulty. And I understand, listen, it's hard out here for everybody right now. So hopefully her being back on the Braxtons can put a stop to any type of, bankruptcy issues. She can get all that cleared up. I know Tamar was having her own issues as well. And I think I'm going to make a separate video dealing with Tamar, not necessarily with the IRS tax information that she had going on, but what she was saying about her marriage to JR. I didn't even know that she was married. I knew that they have been pretty, on again, off again. He is someone who is just, in my eyes, he's very disrespectful. I don't know if they're going to bring him on the show or not. I mean, he is a part of Tamar's life, but the way that he treats her, I don't like it. I don't like the way that he, humiliates her on social media. Um, I don't like the fact that, a lot of people, including other YouTubers like Kimpire and, a lot of people have been saying that he is an opportunist. And it looks that way, right? I mean, allegedly, I think he's a lawyer as well, personal injury lawyer. I know like he sat down with Carlos King and did that interview after his DUI. But just the way that he talks about Tamar in the public, Like if you're having your own issues, that's fine. Every relationship goes through ups and downs, but what you don't do is you don't dog your partner on the World Wide Web, especially if they are a public figure, right? Which Tamar is, just in proximity to her older sister, Toni Braxton. But Tamar is an artist in her own right, you know? I mean, Love and War is one of my favorite songs. Her voice is beautiful. And I don't know if JR is jealous of that or what, but you know, yeah, he's not my favorite. Um, Moving on, we have little Kevin, right? Tracy's one and only son. Unfortunately, he's getting a divorce. His aunties, Trina and Tawanda, they FaceTimed him and invited him to the therapy session via Zoom, I think virtually. But they asked him about his hair. They said he looked good. And he's like, oh, well, my wife twisted my hair. And they're both like, well, what? I thought you guys were going through a divorce. And he's like, well, she doesn't know if she wants to be married one day, divorced the next. So I'm hoping that they can maybe even work with Spirit or some other, marriage and family therapist and work that out. Or if not, walk away with no animosity, right? Sometimes people grow apart. But it is unfortunate that they chose, you know, this time to grow apart, and also him not speaking with his father, Kevin Sr. That has to be heart wrenching because I can't imagine, being so close with your mother and then her passing and then your father kind of pushing you away. And I understand everyone handles grief differently, but now's not the time to push away, your only child. Um, I think that's, or maybe that's not Kevin Sr.'s only child, but I know it's Tracy's only child. But regardless, it's your son, it's your flesh and blood. Like he needs you. You're his only living parent left. So hopefully, I know Mr. Michael Braxton, he comes on with the family to therapy, but hopefully Kevin Sr. can join them as well, or Michael Jr., their brother. I know he's pretty private. He doesn't like to be in the limelight, but I'm an advocate for therapy for everybody, especially grief counseling, because Traci, I mean, she was someone who was so down to earth and she wasn't, um, she was about her family and her grandchildren. And, I know that, Toni was taking a beat, like she was crying. She's like, give me a second, guys. And they're like, of course, take your time during the confessional. Like that has to be heartbreaking. And then, with Miss E, Miss Evelyn, when they were all out to lunch together, and they said, it's like an empty seat. Traci, was there in spirit, but I can't imagine, having to bury your child. So I'm looking forward to this season. I think that it's going to be, very interesting. I know they said that was Tracy's last dying wish, that she wanted them to come together. She wanted the show to come back together. And she probably just wanted her family, to come together because, listen, they're all close knit. They grew up together. And it's unfortunate that, again, I don't know, Tamar's going through a hard time, but, she said that her family was toxic and that it was like the worst decision that she could have made going back onto the show. So I don't know if something specific happened. Um, but I'm hoping that she takes the time that she needs to heal as well. I feel like that might be some grief that she hasn't addressed, whether it's coming out as anger or, whatever. I know her and Traci bumped heads, but at the end of the day, they were sisters, they're flesh and blood. So she definitely has left a hole in all of their hearts, but they all have, like the hummingbird necklace. I thought that was really sweet. And, um, you know, that she can go with them wherever they go. So yeah, I'm looking forward to uh to this season with the Braxtons. Let me know if you guys are going to be watching. Please be sure to like the video, share your thoughts in the comment section. I always love to hear from you guys. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, Aces. Bye.